All right, so I'm gonna get started. Welcome here today. First, I'm gonna start off with, I got two cases I want to talk about today. The first one is when someone did some criminal damage to property. The next case I'm gonna talk about is our large fentanyl bust here. This is a character that some people may recognize from the Andy Griffith Show. Otis Campbell. Mr. Campbell used to like to consume excessive amounts of alcohol, and essentially he would break into the jail every single night. Yesterday at Walmart, our officers got a report of someone spray painting one of our squad cars, and along with other damage in the city, or other damage to Walmart. Our officers went out and they caught this person. They had red spray paint on their hands, and they had a can of spray paint, and they had a receipt for the spray paint that they paid for. And I don't have the booking photo yet for the person, Mr. Kalon Dijon Niemeyer. He's 23 years old, but as an artist, artists need canvases, so we got these new canvases here for him. So it's kind of cold, Minnesota. Now it's starting to get cold, so as opposed to our normal orange jumpsuit, we gave him one of these. And again, if you break the law in the city of Bloomington, we're going to lock you up. So hopefully he can get the help that he needs, but I apologize for us not having the booking photo. So 2 days ago, our officers were dispatched to a report of a person having an overdose on the 1900 block of 86th Street at one of our apartment complexes known as Blooming Meadows. I went out there with them, and there was a male who I'm not going to identify right now because the medical examiner is still trying to work through that, and a female. The male had overdosed, and when our officers responded, the woman, she was also overdosing. As human beings, we process information primarily with three senses: hearing, seeing, and feeling. And for me, it's feeling. And as I was sitting there watching them give this 32-year-old male CPR, it's a feeling that I've had throughout my career when you've given someone CPR and they're just not gonna survive. In this case, he didn't survive. Right now in the city of Bloomington, we have 12 recorded overdose fatalities, which is a record for the city of Bloomington. In 2019, we had 7. In 2020, we had 8. In 2021, we had 6. And right now, we have 12, and we're not to the end of the year. All of these doses, all of these deaths are people. In Hennepin County, as of September 28th, there were 199 fatal overdose deaths in Hennepin County. So on August 31st, our police officers responded to one of our local businesses on a financial transactions card fraud call through some very, very good police work. They ended up getting, and we'll send this out, this is more than likely the largest fentanyl pill seizure in the Midwest. It's 108,943 doses of M30 fentanyl pills. This is enough fentanyl to kill a fifth of the entire state's population. This is enough pills to give every person in the city of Bloomington one, everybody staying in the hotels, and still some left over for the people in Richfield and Edina. 108,000 pills of fentanyl. Our officers did a phenomenal job here. We've turned this case over federally, so it's still an active investigation, so there's some information that I'm not going to be able to give. But the person responsible for this, Marcus Trice, has been federally indicted on September 20th. He was caught with 108,000 doses of fentanyl, enough to kill a fifth of the state's population. So, as we customary do here when you break the law in Bloomington, we locked him up. And the other part for him is that he's going to do more than likely federal time. So any specific questions regarding this can be directed to the U.S. Attorney, but you bring enough drugs into the state to kill a fifth of the population, you can expect to go to federal prison for a long time. And you do that in Bloomington, you can expect that we're going to lock you up just like we did him. And like I said, we've had 199 people so far who have died from overdose deaths in Hennepin County. In Bloomington, we've had 12. Our police officers do a phenomenal job out here, but we locked him up, and God willing, he's going to stay in there. So with that, I'll take any questions you may have.
What was the store? Where was the store that you guys found those?
It was a local business, and it's still an active investigation, but our officers were called there on a financial transaction fraud case.
And that was obviously
in the city of Bloomington, yes. And this was not a narcotics officer working this. This was frontline police officers.
What is it about fentanyl that scares you so much as a police chief? I know a lot of has been made nationally of fentanyl and its dangers.
Well, I got to go out there and watch a dude die 2 days ago from it, and I worry about my officers. You know, we got 122 police officers that work here, and I don't want to have to, give them Narcan or have them go home to their families because he feels it's okay to bring 108,000 doses of fentanyl to Minnesota. And I just worry, this is a drug here that, unfortunately, for the dealer in this case, for the overdose that we just had, when someone overdose, we've been told that a lot of times people who seek fentanyl try to find the dealer that's sold the drugs to the person that overdosed because they know that the dose is strong, and that's what they're seeking. So this is killing a lot of people in Minnesota. And Haida, just to give you an example of how big this one was, the high intensity drug trafficking, the Haida North Central, which is Minnesota, in Wisconsin, last year during this same, for all of 2021, they seized approximately 63,000 fentanyl pills. And we're at 108,000, almost 109,000 fentanyl pills.
Do we know where these folks are getting access to these pills to be able to sell them?
That's still part of an active, ongoing investigation. I wish I could tell you, but they're still trying to really take down so we can stop having people like this bring this much drugs into our community and kill folks.
As it becomes more prevalent, are there any precautions that your officers are taking handling this stuff on the streets? Or?
Yeah, so all of our officers, we give gloves to so they can be cautious, and people have been trained to recognize some of these things, but they keep these pills are relatively, you can kind of see what they are, but as they start to infuse fentanyl into other things, it gets more and more difficult. So just having people make sure they're wearing the proper protective equipment when they're dealing with these things.
That's what I was going to ask you. What are the dangers associated with fentanyl? Obviously, if you take it, you can overdose, but even simply touching it
Yes.
can be deadly?
Yes, you could touch it and get the same effects.
How old was the suspect again?
36, old enough to know better.
Did you know him previously?
No, he is not from Minnesota. He is from out of state. And his criminal history, I think he's been arrested for multiple things going back to 2006 from what I remember, but his criminal history is out of the state of Minnesota.
What would your message be to anyone who might be watching this evening on the news, knowing that they have some pills literally sitting in front of them ready to be sold? What would your message be to those folks? And
I know this sounds very corny, and I really hate to even utter this out of my mouth, but it's one of those things, you get high, you die. It's as simple as that, right? I mean, I don't know any type of drug that's worth taking that could kill you, literally kill you. I mean, people who have died from this, but yet people still choose to take it.
And just to clarify, that overdose that you witnessed 2 days ago, you think that these were the same pills, or?
We don't know. No, it's obviously not none of these, but we're still investigating what that person took.
Do you have any idea how long he'd been in the community?
A few hours. Any other questions? All right, thank you for coming out today.
Thank you.